Okay, let's move on to this next topic right here. Kevin Durant. Let me talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is officially back in action. It's been over 500 days since he's played an NBA game. Kevin Durant, he returned on opening night. He was excellent versus his old team, the Golden State Warriors. He scored 22 points, shot 43% from the field, and the Golden State Warriors lost the game 99-125 as a blowout victory. The Brooklyn Nets got a big-time win, and Kevin Durant, he looked good as new, coming off an Achilles tear, coming off that Achilles injury in which he suffered during the 2019 NBA Finals. A lot of people question, would Kevin Durant be the same player coming back? Kevin Durant, he still looks like the Kevin Durant of old, and to be quite honest with you, Kevin Durant hasn't even hit his full stride yet. Wait till Kevin Durant gets about 20 to 25 games under his belt during the NBA season. He's going to start looking even scarier and scarier and scarier. Kevin Durant is officially back. He's teamed up with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn to try to win a championship. Steve Nash is now the long-term head coach in Brooklyn, and at least for now. And I wholeheartedly believe that Kevin Durant is going to win the Brooklyn Nets a title at some point within the next 4 seasons. It could be this year. Maybe it's this year. Maybe it's not. But Kevin Durant, he signed a 4-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets. At some point during the Kevin Durant era, he will lead them to winning an NBA championship, okay? You know, and Kevin Durant is super duper motivated, you know. Why did he choose the Brooklyn Nets? Well, for one, he chose the Brooklyn Nets because they're a very talented team that has a lot of upside. You know, we'll talk about the team a little bit later during the segment, but here's the thing. Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors and was a very controversial move at the time. He had just lost to the Golden State Warriors in the NBA playoffs. He had blown a 3-1 lead. He joined a 73-win team. And while most people believed that Kevin Durant by far was the best player on that team, some Steph Curry fanboys say Curry was the better player, and they're just flat out wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. But it's pretty obvious that Kevin Durant, he was the best player in Golden State. He got the Finals MVPs. He put them over the top. But everyone said, oh, Kevin Durant, he kind of took the easy way out. He kind of, you know, stacked the deck. He joined Steph Curry, who had already established a culture, you know. I want to see Kevin Durant lead his own team. And that was a fair criticism to a certain degree. Personally, I felt that when Kevin Durant had won back-to-back NBA Finals and when he was on his way to winning a 3rd straight NBA Finals versus the Toronto Raptors, that he was maybe arguably the best player in the entire world, and that he had maybe surpassed LeBron James. But in reality, at worst, him and LeBron James were 1A and 1B. But people said Kevin Durant took the easy way out. They clowned Kevin Durant. They were trolling him on social media. They said, Kevin Durant, he can only win with multiple superstars. He can only win when he stacks the deck. Let's see Kevin Durant go to another team where he is by far the best player and the leader of that franchise. And that is what Kevin Durant set out to do by joining the Brooklyn Nets. Because the Brooklyn Nets have not won an NBA championship since 1976. It has been ages since the Brooklyn Nets have won an NBA Finals. If Kevin Durant wins the Brooklyn Nets to NBA Finals at some point over the next couple of years, he will be praised to no end, and he will undisputedly be the best player in all basketball. He'll easily be a top 10 player of all time. And he will have 100% validated his legacy. Kevin Durant is chasing validation with the Brooklyn Nets. He's motivated. He wants the full credit that he felt he did not get in Golden State when he won back-to-back Finals MVPs, beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, personally, I don't think Kevin Durant needs much validation. I think Kevin Durant is a bona fide Hall of Famer, maybe arguably a top 10 player of all time. He's at least very close, in my opinion. You know, for me, Kevin Durant does not need validation. But to most fans out there, they recognize for the most part that throughout Kevin Durant's prime, he's been the best player in basketball, not named LeBron James. But they just did not fully give him the credit that I think that he truly deserved in Golden State for averaging 35 points and 5 assists and 7 rebounds on LeBron James' head. He destroyed LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he didn't get the credit they felt he deserved. So he's chasing validation in Brooklyn, and I believe he's a great chance to validate his legacy in Brooklyn, and I believe he will 100% do it because a motivated Kevin Durant is a scary sight because that guy, he has no weaknesses to his game. He's a lethal shooter. He's a lethal scorer. He's an all-time great player. And Kevin Durant is joining a very good and very talented Brooklyn Nets team. Obviously, you've got Kyrie Irving as your point guard. He's great. He's a top 5 point guard in the game of basketball today. If you just count true point guards, if you want to count the James Hardens of the world or the Luka Doncic's of the world or the LeBron James of the world, if you're considering him a point guard, then you may not think Kyrie Irving's a point guard that is top 5 at his position, but Kyrie Irving, one of the best players in all of basketball. He can give you easily 22 to 25 points per game each night, Joe Harris, he's a good player, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Landry Shamet, Jeff Green, Taurean Prince. The Brooklyn Nets, they might arguably be the deepest team in all basketball. And despite Kevin Durant being hurt last year and Kyrie Irving only playing in 20 games last year, the Brooklyn Nets were a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. This Brooklyn Nets team is really, really deep. And now if you add a healthy Kyrie Irving, pair it with Kevin Durant, who to me is at worst a top 3 player in all of basketball right now, I think the Brooklyn Nets are better than the Philadelphia 76ers. I believe they're better than the Miami Heat. I believe they're better than the Milwaukee Bucks. And last but not least, Steve Nash, I believe in him. Steve Nash is a former NBA player. He's a former point guard, a former quarterback of an NBA team to a certain degree because the quarterback of a basketball team usually is the point guard, the distributor, the leader of the team, the guy that runs the show as far as the offense goes. And Steve Nash, he did a great job of having the Brooklyn Nets prepared on opening night. I believe in Steve Nash. I really do. I believe in Mike D'Antoni as his assistant coach. I believe in Amari Stoudemire as his other assistant coach. I believe in that coaching staff. I believe Steve Nash is going to do great things for Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. He definitely has what it takes, in my opinion, to become a great NBA head coach. I believe in the Brooklyn Nets, and I believe that at some point, Kevin Durant will 100% win the Brooklyn Nets at least one title during his time in Brooklyn. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.